What?
Yeah,
Oh,
so he will doodle
okay, he wants me to read this.
the stuff.
Welcome to the All-American Otaku Show, is that right? Okay, don't kill me. Thank you. Bye.
Is there any-
That's so good.
Join the ride, jumping in where the stories collide. From the screen to the song, this is where we belong. All American Otaku, let's come alive. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All American Otaku Show, Otaku News. First bit of the news broadcast is a sad one when Godzilla actress Katie Lee Hoddle passed away. She was only 18 years old, and she played the role in the Godzilla movies, where she uses sign language to talk to Kong, as well as be the voice of reason to Kong, so to speak, when you fight Godzilla, saying Godzilla's not the enemy. We got to help you with this. We got to calm you down while we transport you to this place or take you to this area in Hollow Earth, and be the kind of the go between from monster or kaiju to the human or monarch or what have you. She was in a fatal car accident at the age of 18. The car accident was blunt force trauma. She wasn't the driver. Everyone in the accident pretty much died or got severely hurt. She was a promising young actress who have very mild potential to become further than even Godzilla movies. We don't know how far she is, except for in this tragedy. How this is Otaku news is because kaiju or Godzilla or giant monsters is just a big portion of otaku culture or Japanese culture in itself. The idea she was a part of the King Kong or the Godzilla franchise and such a young age, where we've seen her from a little girl all the way up to how old is she now, whereas 18, and the idea that she is gone will leave a big void into future episodes or future movies, a big void into the monster verse or even otaku culture itself. It's always a tragedy when someone that with that much potential died at such a young age. Please let's have a moment of silence for Katie Hoddle. Well, back to the other news we have is starting in the beginning of next month, we're opening up a shop where we will sell t-shirts and various other merchandise for what we'll update every so often to add more products. There would be a limited edition stuff on there. There would be more things into it. This is the first shop we're opening up on this channel. Some may say it's too soon. Some may say it's too late. But this is the shop there will feature a lot of Stella gear. There will be even a couple shirts that are for content directors such as myself as Anna Bear, such as Mr. Pat, and eventually we'll have Louie in there. And maybe if we get more content people, then we'll have t-shirts of them too. But the big selling item we'll have at the shop is a calendar that I've been working on. 12 months of was Stella and various things, anime stuff like Hot Spring, or let's say fantasy, mecha, and so forth. The calendar should be fairly well. It's going to start off. It's a 2027 calendar. If you really want into wall calendars and stuff, and you want something to look forward to every month, that will be a thing. This leads into our next thing is our poll. We did a poll for like we do every year of the top anime in martial arts in anime, such as we had everything from a character from an obscure anime such as Street Fighter, which some people know the video games but forget there was an anime, to Kenshi, the Mightiest Disciple, to Goku, who is a major martial artist, to Baki the Grappler, who it's a very strong martial arts anime. We'll find out who took last place, who took first place, who took in the middle. It's all coming here on the All American Otaku Show, and here's on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All American Otaku Show. Hopefully, you enjoyed the news segment, but here's we're going to go to the meat of the subject: martial arts, a subject near and dear to my heart. What got me into Japanese culture in the first place and otaku culture wasn't anime, wasn't video games, and wasn't manga, it wasn't figurines or even cosplay. A lot of those things came later. The thing that really got me into otaku culture was martial arts movies. Movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Enter the Ninja, The Revenge of the Ninja, American Ninja, the Bruce Lee movies such as Enter the Dragon, Tokyo Connection, and then you had other characters like your Jackie Chan, which is Super Agent, Super Cop, Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3, all these great martial arts movies, seeing these guys fly around defeating 100 men, all sorts of things really got into what my soul and what my thought. Martial arts is more, then I learned martial arts is more of a discipline than, okay, I could fight and kick someone's butt. Martial arts, the idea you have to be mind, body, and soul to really achieve greatness through martial arts. Martial arts is it got to be extremely popular and such as the things called MMA, where it which means mixed martial arts, which some people say Bruce Lee was the first MMA fighter. Whether he is, whether he wasn't, it's become super popular with you. When I first started, there was Hoist Gracie versus Ken Shamrock, who ended up being into WWE and TNA and various other wrestling things. That martial arts has taught me how to see the world in more of like, okay, this is cool. Which led to martial arts movies, eventually led to watching anime, which eventually led me to conventions, which led me to go into the cosplay community, which eventually led me into more of the video game community. Even though I did play video games as NES, like your Super Mario Brothers and stuff, but martial arts opened the door to this vast variety of otaku culture, which eventually made me create this channel that we all enjoy and like to watch now. But first, let's get into the poll. There was quite a bit of people who voted, and I thank you greatly. And here's the results of the poll. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is none other than Ryu. But you're probably thinking, wait a minute, was Ryu even in an anime? Question. The answer is yes. He was started off in an anime called Street Fighter II that came out in the 90s, where he and his fellow disciple Ken, who were trained by the same master. I don't remember the master's exact name. They eventually Ryu was looking for Ken, and he meets E Honda, who's fighting Dulzum, and then he meets Guile. He meets Chung Li, and you see this intricate plot from Shadowloo created by Imp Bison. There was even a cool shower scene with Chung Li, who ends up fighting Vega, who has his claw and such. This anime really sparks up the idea that of martial arts tournaments where you get a Hadouken and so forth, and Shoryuken. It reminds me back when I used to play the Street Fighter II video game on Super Nintendo. All my friends, like Ali Majala and various other friends, would go all together and we would play Street Fighter II nonstop. We found cheat codes so we could play the bosses and so forth. It was a big time in my youth, and Ryu was a major part of it. While there would be the anime, one of the first animes I bought was the Street Fighter II anime that I still have in my anime collection. This leads on to the next subject I'm going to talk to you about is who took third place is none other than Kenichi. Kenichi I first originally seen watching another anime like Samurai Girl or something, I forget which. They had an ad for Kenichi. It looked good, so I ended up looking to buy it. First off, I watched it on Funimation, been watching various episodes, how it goes further and further, but it eventually led to me owning the anime, which I own now. Thank you, used bookstore. I bought the anime and it was like, holy crap, this is actually pretty good. Starts off as a bully, not a bully, but a bully beating up this kid named Kenichi. Kenichi thought of as weak and useless until he meets this one girl with glasses and such who looks on her, oh, can we be friends? She's more used to people going after her for her looks or not wanting to get with her because she's the new girl. Of course, blonde, which is prominent in anime. She leads him to her house, which is big shrines and temples where all these martial arts artists are from, everything from Tai Chi to Taekwondo and so forth. And then you go for his grandfather, and you also had one guy trying to teach him judo and various other karate techniques so he could finally win this fight with the bully and still practice martial arts and be part of the karate club. He ends up going in there and fighting in this club and thus defeating the bully. And the bully was in tears, like, I don't want to give up karate. Let's go there. He says, you don't have to give it up. Just don't try to fight me and stuff anymore. And eventually ends up with more fights and more bigger problems because this guy with like elf ears and looks kind of like a gremlin keeps on trying to get him into more fights and getting more thing and trying to posture him up so much big that more people won't fight him. Eventually leads to this big gang trying to fight him, and this eventually leads to other things. Now let's talk about what took second place in my anime poll. The second place was none other than Goku. Goku is a staple of anime characters. When you go for the Sears parade, you see Goku there, and it's like, wow, this is anime's gotten huge. Goku has also been in video games like Dragon Ball Z Budokai. He was also in Dragon Ball Z Evolution, not Evolution, but it was Dragon Ball Z Tenichi and such. So he's and Goku even as a kid practiced by his grandfather Gohan. He doesn't know very much else but martial arts. Through the martial arts, he meets Krillin. He meets Master Roshi, who teaches him the Kamehameha. It's the journey of it and the journey of what Goku goes through. As much as he knows martial arts, he doesn't know much about being a dad. He doesn't know much about being a good husband, or he doesn't know much about earthly things, such as he thinks that women have balls, which is pretty funny. Or Pete can't usually Pete's standing up. He doesn't know the difference between male and women's anatomy or organs and how to treat a woman or stuff like that. He eventually learns more about humanity through the thing. He was originally supposed to be the person who invaded Earth, but he got hit in the head and he became more of the savior of Earth. He will be able to use his martial arts to fight creatures like Frieza, who could destroy a planet with a single blast, and go Super Saiyan and throw emotional. Through martial arts, Goku became who he is. This leads into the last one, and number one on the poll is none other than Bakai, or Grappler from Grappler Bakai. The original anime came out in the 90s, and I rented it once on VHS at Blockbuster. Yeah, this shows me how I'm getting old. And he was facing this guy that would take your nerves and pull them out and save your nerves so you can't fight. He ends up coming in there fighting there, and he does this thing where he decarbonizes drinks and he goes in the fight, which would be kind of weird. And the new one is more stylized and more gritty graphics, where he fights a Sasquatch. He fights his dad, who is this big, brutal guy who ends up beating the crap out of him. He meets friends and everything else along the way. And then eventually he ends up going and fighting 100 men and people there, and it shows the evolution there. I'm glad this choose number one because this is a great martial arts anime, great martial artist. And with that, here is Mr. Pat on his manga on martial arts. Thank you.
This is the All American Otaku show, and this was Mr. Pat. Today we are covering martial arts. There's quite a bit martial arts manga, but I chose three. The one that I remember the most is called History's Strongest Disabled Kenichi. Yeah, kind of a mouthful, but I like it because it guy starts out from zero to hero kind of concept. So Kenichi himself is like a huge scaredy cat at the beginning, and he's like a punching bag for the karate club, and it doesn't work well for him. So when he meets Mew, he's impressed by her effortless skill of throwing people to the ground, and even there's a even joke around that anytime people touch her, she's thrown. And Kenichi always seems to forget that when you touch her, she just falls. He just throws throws him on the ground. So he ends up following her to a dojo called, and excuse my butchering of this language, Rain-Seppuku. And it's housed by 5 martial arts experts. Each of them have their own story and what martial arts are going to teach them. There's a jiu-jitsu one, Muay Thai, and then there's a weapons expert, which the funny story about that is he's like really scared of weapons, but the martial arts person ends up using the weapons on him so much that he just has a maniacal reaction to disarming people. And you learn stuff from Chinese Kempo and karate expert. During this whole time, he gets injured quite a bit. And they end up, the jiu-jitsu guy ends up healing him with acupuncture and stuff. And there's a running gag with the Muay Thai guy that he ends up just does not want to hold back at all and ends up almost killing him all the time. So he gets injured quite a bit. But like I said, I like this story because he comes from a zero to hero, and he's pretty driven on impressing you and also making sure that he can handle all the stuff that's going on. As the story progresses, it gets a lot more complicated and a lot more. The martial arts have their own things going on, and there's a lot of people out for him later on in the story. I give this one 4 out of 5. Definitely a must one. The next one, and again, it's martial arts, and this is Demon Slayer. Because Demon Slayer uses a lot of different, usually elemental stuff to other kind of ways of sword breathing. The story takes place in Tanjiro that his whole family got murdered by demons, and the only one that's living, if you can call it living, is Nezuko, and she is he ends up trying to find a cure for her during this whole time, and it's he has a lot of friends with him, and the really cool story about Dawalaka Tenchu is even though he's trying to slay these demons and trying to finish what the demon core does, he still has some care about these demons, because in the grand scheme of things they were converted into demons, and he respects the human side of them even though they killed a lot of people. I give this one 4 out of 5. It's definitely a good choice for martial arts. And then this one is more towards the second arc, but Battle Angel, and it's called Battle Angel New Order. I like this one. This is one that's always my favorite because it's a lot of different. During that period of time, she ends up going to a martial arts tournament, Attila, or her real name is Yoko, and she slowly learns more about her martial arts Panzerkunde, which is basically space martial arts, but it entails a lot of different types of martial arts that affect space combat to cyborg combat. It's all around. It helps with people learning with all sorts of types of people, but it's mainly for space combat, so they learn how to use leverage and how to move in such a way that it's hard for them to deal with. There are quite a bit of things going on, like she finds out later on that she is like missing her human brain, so she has a chip brain, and that one's pretty tough because she's deciding whether she's human or not, and what does human mean. And during this whole time, she's trying to find it, and then in the twist of fate, but kind of standard trope of martial arts is she gets killed or seems like killed and comes back, and she ends up hijacking this machine that has nanotechnology and superior communication nanotechnology. So she ends up showing up in her tournament side, and she usually shows up with all this nanites that she can use as weapons, anything from swords to laser fists. You can tell I really like this one, and I give this 5 out of 5. That's it of my martial arts, and this is Mr. Pat signing off, and have a great day.
Morning pages, thinking tea, dog-eared panels next to me, late night quests and chapter breaks, familiar hearts, familiar